It's October 2nd, 2017, and it's time to review 5 of the most outrageous, infuriating, or just plain baffling things that have happened lately. It's your Facepalm 5. Let's count them down. Number 1. Athletes face backlash for taking a knee. Last year, San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick made headlines by refusing to stand during the playing of the National Anthem in order to protest racism and police brutality in the United States. As this year's NFL season kicks off, Kaepernick finds himself a free agent without a team of his own, but plenty of other players are following his example and taking a knee during the anthem. And some folks are not happy, including Lord Dampnut himself, but I'll get to him in a few minutes. Speaker of the House Paul Ryan said that it was misguided for the players to protest the anthem or the flag, which is an odd thing to say, since they aren't protesting the anthem or the flag. The playing of the anthem is merely the occasion they have chosen to protest racism and police brutality. In Louisiana, the principal of Parkway High School announced that any members of the school football team who did not stand respectfully during the playing of the anthem would be punished. Say hi to those nice lawyers from the ACLU for me when you meet them, eh, Principal Bates? Why are people so upset about these protests? I believe them when they say they just want to sit down and watch football and not worry about politics, but that's the problem. That's why the protests are necessary. There are probably millions of people in this country who are angrier right now about some athletes making a silent but dramatic protest than they have ever been about the things those athletes are protesting against. If you're able to pretend that things like white supremacy, police brutality, and racist inequalities in the justice system don't exist, that's a luxury you may enjoy, but it's also a luxury lots of other folks who face injustice and suffering and death due to the color of their skin are getting tired of paying for. Number 2, Republicans release trickle-down tax plan. Having failed yet again to pass a bill that would deprive millions of Americans of access to affordable health care, congressional Republicans are refocusing on one of their favorite targets, tax reform. Last weekend, they released a 9-page outline for their proposed tax bill, which they insist will allow middle-class and working-class taxpayers to keep more of their own money, despite the fact that almost all the major changes to the tax code included in the outline would exclusively benefit the very wealthy. For example, the top tax rate would be lowered by 5%. The tax rate for pass-through entities would be lowered by 15%, a cut that would apply mostly to high-income earners like doctors, lawyers, and hedge fund managers. And the tax on investment income for people earning over $200,000 a year that was introduced to help pay for some of the costs of the Affordable Care Act would be eliminated. In other words, trickle-down, Reaganomics, cut taxes on the wealthiest people, and things for the middle class, the working class, and the poor will just magically get better, supposedly, when actually what happens is it just puts more money in the pockets of people who have more than enough money already. Did I mention it's a Republican plan? Number 3, homophobic, racist, disgraced ex-judge wins Alabama primary. Remember Roy Moore, the Chief Justice of the Alabama State Supreme Court, who had to remove a monument to the Ten Commandments from the front of the courthouse and later was forced to resign from the court in disgrace after defying a federal order to recognize same-sex marriages? Well, you'll never guess what he's up to now. He's the Republican nominee for the Senate seat formerly occupied by Jeff Sessions. At least if he wins, it'll be a smooth transition. In addition to the highlights I just mentioned, Moore has also called the 9/11 attacks divine punishment for the U.S. turning away from God, said he believes quote-unquote homosexual conduct should be against the law, and oh yeah, an organization he founded once shared a video claiming that Barack Obama is a secret Muslim. Surprisingly, Donald Trump did not endorse Roy Moore's candidacy. I guess he didn't find out about the Obama stuff until it was too late. Number 4, Kushner email story reveals Republican and media hypocrisy. Did you know that using personal email accounts for government business is only bad when Hillary Clinton does it? I can prove it. Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's son-in-law and senior advisor, has used a personal email account for official White House business dozens of times, according to Politico. A lawyer for Kushner explained that he only used the personal email to communicate with fellow White House officials on a relatively few occasions when it was convenient, and never sent any classified information using the personal account. It was done for convenience, and no classified materials were shared. Why does that sound familiar? Maybe because that's literally the explanation Hillary Clinton offered for her use of a private email account while she was Secretary of State, for which she was relentlessly attacked and made the subject of federal investigation. Note the distinct lack of lock him up chants at Trump rallies and the absence of wall-to-wall media coverage. It's almost as if the amount of attention given to the Clinton email story last year was completely unwarranted and mostly the result of politically motivated attacks and cable news channels opportunistically chasing ratings. But that would be silly. And now it's time for the segment devoted to some of the other things Donald Trump has done lately to disgrace the presidency and embarrass and/or endanger the United States and the rest of the world. It's number 5, the further misadventures of Lord Dampnut. Please keep in mind, as always, the following is not a complete list. After continuing his posturing against Kim Jong-un on Twitter, Trump took that show on the road and threatened to, quote, totally destroy North Korea during a speech at the United Nations. On Twitter and during a rally in Alabama, he attacked the National Football League, complaining that recent measures designed to protect the health of players were ruining the game, and declaring that players who take a knee during the National Anthem should be fired. He later said that he thinks some of his NFL owner friends are afraid of their players. I wonder what he thinks they find so scary. He attempted to excuse his latest failed Republican attempt to pass a healthcare bill by lying about a senator who was in the hospital and unable to vote for the bill. There was no senator in the hospital. He rolled out the aforementioned Republican tax plan with another lie, claiming that doing away with the estate tax would protect millions of small businesses and farmers. In reality, the tax is paid by fewer than 6,000 estates across the country every year, almost none of which are farms or small businesses. And he responded to the humanitarian crisis in Puerto Rico following the devastation of Hurricane Maria, just like any mature, compassionate leader would have, by bringing up the amount of debt Puerto Rico owed, by dragging his feet on waiving shipping regulations that were slowing the transfer of relief supplies to the island, by blaming the poor leadership of San Juan's mayor, by implying Puerto Rican people were lazy, and by openly questioning whether or not it was worth it for the U.S. government to spend the money to rebuild Puerto Rico, which is home to 3.5 million people who are American citizens, by the way. Trump's excuse for his administration's slow, inadequate, grudging response to the devastation wrought on Puerto Rico by Hurricane Maria? Puerto Rico is an island surrounded by water, big water, ocean water. Wow, never thought of that. Good point. That's 5. Speak out, act out, resist, and look after each other. Hey folks, hope you got something out of this one. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. And also please consider helping me to make more videos like this one by supporting this channel through Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/Steve Shives to become a patron of this channel for as little as $1 a month. But if you go above and beyond that and pledge at a level of $5 a month or more, you can take advantage of some cool extra perks, including getting yourself a shout out at the end of the Facepalm 5, just like these folks, my newest $5 plus per month patrons since the last video. Jeff Carr, thank you, Jeff. Michael Trewin, thank you, Michael. James Dodd, thank you, James. And Dan Goodman, thank you, Dan. Thanks to all of you who are my patrons at whatever level you are currently pledging. Thanks to all of you for watching, and I'll see you next time.